Hello soccer fans, welcome to Manchester United Transfer Update News. Man United Transfer News. Marcus Rashford latest as Ruben Amorim told to make change. Ruben Amorim faces the daunting prospect of facing Liverpool on Sunday afternoon, and the Manchester United head coach is again being told it is wise to change his captain. Manchester United face a daunting clash with Liverpool this afternoon, having lost 5 of their past 6 games, and with Ruben Amorim saying the team are in a survival battle. But with forwards such as Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee struggling to score, with Marcus Rashford's future at the club in doubt, a former defender has suggested club record goalscorer Wayne Rooney should be offered a role as a striker coach. Meanwhile, it has been reported that Amorim questioned Rashford about an alleged night out before dropping him last month, and the head coach has also been told to strip Bruno Fernandes of the captaincy. Here are the big stories from in and around Old Trafford, with no suggestion yet of any movement in the transfer window. Rashford night out. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim asked Marcus Rashford about a post-match night out before banishing him from his matchday squad for a run of matches. It has been claimed Rashford started and scored in each of Amorim's first 2 matches in charge, including a brace against Everton. However, he has not been named in a league starting lineup since, and has publicly stated his desire to leave the club. Captaincy change. Ruben Amorim has been urged to restore Harry Maguire to the captaincy, as his Manchester United reign continues to falter. The Red Devils have lost their last 4 games in all competitions, conceding 11 goals in the process. One of those defeats was to struggling Wolves, during which skipper Bruno Fernandes was sent off after picking up 2 yellow cards. It was the 3rd time the midfielder has picked up a red card this season and has led to fresh scrutiny on his position as captain. Lisandro Martinez was handed the armband for the defeat to Newcastle in Fernandes' absence. But former skipper Maguire was also in the lineup, and Amorim has now been told to give the Englishman a second chance. Rooney offer. Wayne Rooney may only be out of work 5 days after being sacked by Plymouth Argyle, but a former teammate has suggested Manchester United's record goalscorer returned to Old Trafford as a striker coach. Plymouth called an end to Rooney's time in charge on New Year's Eve after 9 games without a win. He had been in charge for just 7 months and leaves with the club bottom of the championship table. Rooney has already been linked with big money offers to become a regular television pundit, but Wes Brown believes a specialist role would suit Rooney down to the ground, while Ruben Amorim's team continue to struggle in front of goal. The next Van Persie. Man United now looking to sign £354k P/W monster. Manchester United will be hoping they can turn their torrid form around against Liverpool at Anfield on Sunday afternoon. The Red Devils have been in horrendous form, winning just 1 game out of their last 5 in all competitions. Whilst a trip to their big rivals and the side who top the Premier League currently seems like a daunting task, it is not out of the question that they can win. After all, they did beat Manchester City away from home 5 games ago. If United do lose, the misery will simply continue to pile on. It might not be long before Ruben Amorim's side turn to the transfer market for a new addition. Man United's reported January target. Unsurprisingly, with a club like United, the transfer rumors have already begun pouring in, even though the January window is just days old. One of the players who has been linked with Old Trafford is Juventus striker Dusan Vlahovic. According to a report from journalist Enrico Camilio, talking on Italian radio station Radio Lo Sport, United could look to make a move for the Serbian striker. He believes that the idea is plausible, but there would be a catch. In order for the 24-year-old to switch the old lady for the Red Devils, United striker Joshua Zirkzee would have to go the other way. Camilio explained that there is an idea of an exchange between the 2 clubs, which would see the Dutchman reunite with his former head coach at Bologna, Thiago Motta. At this stage, it is unclear where any money would also be involved in the deal. With that being said, Juve might want to recoup some of the £66.6 million they spent on the Serb back in January 2022 when they bought him from Fiorentina. Why Vlahovic would be a good signing. It has been a fairly successful season so far for Juventus number 9. The Serb has scored 12 goals and has 2 assists in 22 games across all competitions, including 7 strikes in the Serie A and 4 in 5 Champions League games so far. His record for Juve as a whole is pretty impressive. In 123 games for the Italian Giants, He has 53 goals and 11 assists. On average, he gets a goal involvement every other appearance. That goes along with his 49 goals in 108 games for Fiorentina. His best season in Turin came in the 2023-24 campaign. The £354,000 per week striker scored 16 goals and notched up 3 assists in 33 Serie A games. On the face of things, that is exactly what United need from their striker. That is to say, a genuine goalscorer who knows where the back of the net is. It is simply something they have not had this term. However, this deal may become even more appealing to the Red Devils faithful when the comparisons between Vlahovic and their legendary striker, Robin van Persie, are drawn. When laid out, they are clearly similar players. The Dutchman was one of the finest strikers of his generation, and for United he was simply unstoppable. Van Persie bagged 58 goals and 15 assists in 105. Wingback call, midfield conundrum, Man United are about to find out how brave Ruben Amorim is. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim has some very big selection calls to make ahead of the clash with Liverpool at Anfield. How do you stop Liverpool? It is a question Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim is going to have to try and come up with an answer to. The Portuguese chief will experience the blood and thunder of United's and Liverpool's rivalry for the very first time on Sunday afternoon when his side travels along the M62 to Anfield. United will travel to the Premier League leaders having lost each of their last 4 games across all competitions, including each of their last 3 in the league. They have also fired blanks in each of those league losses. Having experienced a disastrous conclusion to 2024, United will be determined to hit the ground running in 2025 and pull away from the relegation zone, which is slowly becoming a little bit more visible in their rearview mirror. However, the nature of their recent defeats has left United supporters fearing the worst ahead of their latest Anfield visit. United have not scored at Anfield in any of their last 5 visits and are without a win in the red half of Merseyside in 9 years. It means the prospect of Amorim overseeing a 3-point haul will likely be celebrated long into the night. However, amid United's ongoing struggles, the Portuguese chief is going to have to come up with a pinpoint plan to try and stop the Premier League tabletoppers in their tracks. With that said, Men's Sport has analyzed 3 big selection calls the United boss is going to have to get right. Who starts at centre-back? With Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof both sidelined, Amorim has got 4 centre-backs to choose from to make up his back 3. He has named 4 different back 3 combinations for the last 4 games, and he desperately needs to try and find a settled partnership across the back line. Despite his patchy form, Lisandro Martinez remains a guaranteed starter because he is left-footed. He gives United a degree of balance on the left of the defense, and he has proven that he can be a key player for the Reds when he performs to his true capabilities. However, who starts on the right and in the middle of the 3 is up for debate. Matthijs de Ligt started as the right-sided centre-back against Newcastle, and Harry Maguire was stationed in the middle. Lenny Yoro, who was on the bench against the Magpies, will fancy his chances of being recalled to start on the right and add a turn of speed to the defense. After all, on paper, he was United's most eye-catching signing in the summer. If Yoro is recalled to the starting 11, it leaves Maguire and de Ligt jockeying for the final place in the back 3. It could be decided via a toss of a coin, but the latter, considering he was signed in the summer to be a regular starter, should be nudging ahead of his centre-back counterpart and start. Ruben Amorim makes honest Man United confession and admits to relegation gamble. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim joked he is already feeling the effects of managing the Red Devils, and revealed his relegation comments were a tactic to motivate his struggling players. Ruben Amorim has joked that managing Manchester United has already started to seriously damage his good looks. It has taken just 9 weeks in the Old Trafford madhouse for the 39-year-old to admit that he no longer recognizes the man who arrived from Sporting Lisbon when he peers into the bathroom mirror every morning. Amorim is hoping that the arrival of his family in Manchester over Christmas will help him deal with the unique pressures that come with being in charge of the biggest club in the Premier League. The Portuguese accepts that he's inherited a squad that is struggling to cope with the weight of the famous red shirt so much that he felt compelled to issue a relegation warning after a defeat against Newcastle meant he became the first United manager in over a century to lose 5 of his first 8 league matches. There could not be a worse time for United to take on a rampant Liverpool team in front of an Anfield crowd that will have blood in its nostrils. Amorim managed to chuckle as he said, "You can see in my face. You can compare the way I arrived to how I look now." But it was gallows humor, he added. Of course, when you are losing there is a lot of pressure, but for me it's more about the pride and also the performance. It's even harder when we don't perform well because, when I arrived I explain everything. Even when you guys were talking after Everton about us finishing in the top 4, I explained that I was expecting this. It is hard to cope with all the problems here and the bad performances and the losses. It is really hard, but it is supposed to be really hard. The only thing that can help me is the training with the players, and I also have my family now here, so it's so much different. Can help me. They came on the 27th, and it was a good day. Amorim accepts it was a gamble to suggest that this current United team is now dicing with the bottom 3. It is 51 years since United were last relegated, just 6 seasons after lifting the European Cup. But he felt it necessary to give his players the harshest of reality checks in a bid to shake them into a response. Amorim said, "I know it is a problem here for the manager to say those kinds of things, but in this moment in our club everybody has to understand. So let's focus on the reality. We know that we are Manchester United. I know I am not supposed to talk about these things, but I want to be very clear with the fans and the players. I think that is really important in this moment. Anything can happen, but we must be focused on winning games and to improve our performance. Then relegation won't be an issue in the future. The players are anxious and sometimes afraid.